It is another time, another episode of Seasons. I am so excited for this episode. It's been a long awaited episode, um, rescheduled episode, one that we would try to do, but I'm so grateful for it to be the last episode for the first season of Seasons, for me to be able to conclude this first season with none other than my dearest, dearest, dearest friends, my girlfriends, my sisters. Okay. And I think it's important, to be able to share and to talk about just real life experiences and how we journey through our experiences, not by ourselves, but with those who the Lord has placed in our lives. And so I have been so grateful and so blessed and so privileged and so loved by God that he would allow me to have sisters like these in my life. They are not just friends, they are sisters. And so we're going to get into a great conversation as we hear from them, and just let's just join in, type in the chat, give us comments, questions, whatever, and we'll be sure to respond to them. So without any further delay, I want everyone to just introduce themselves. Tell us who you are. Tell us maybe how long we've known each other. Whatever else you want to say, the floor is open. This is not how we are in real life. It's only because the camera is rolling. Okay, Gracie, talk to us.
I knew you were going to call me first. Hello, everyone. My name is Grace Gill, as you can see on the camera. Yeah, we have been friends forever. I don't even know where to start. I guess I guess I'll speak to each individual. Colleen, I've known you pretty much my whole life. I don't even know where to say
About
where.
40 years, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't know where it started. I really don't know. I just know that I don't know where it started age wise, but we basically grew up at West Toronto Church of God. Parents are friends, and going through all of the things that we went through at West Toronto, choir, Sunday school, you name it, we grew up together in that. And here we are today. Gillian, I remember we became close because of the choir. I remember they gave us prayer partners, and that's how I became close with Gillian. And I believe I if I'm wrong, I'm sure you'll correct me. I think I was 13, 12, 13, 14 when that relationship started, and that's how I became close with Gillian. And here we are still today. Nadine, I'm just going in the circle here. So Nadine is my god sister. So so pretty much that's it. I don't think I need to give it. I don't think I need to go into any more details. She's my god sister. Her father is my godfather. I grew up with Nadine, Juliet Crescent, going there. Her parents taking care of me and my brother. Like we basically have known each other since birth, pretty much. If her dad's my godfather, then birth. Nordia. Okay, Nordia. Because of Church of God. That's how that's how that relationship started. Church of God. Nordia was from Kitchener, Church of God, and then she transitioned and migrated over through marriage with Glenn. But even before that, I've known Nordia forever. So this is how that works. That's how I know everyone here, and we've remained friends, sister friends, everything. This relationship has continued to move the way it has for many years, and here we are today. So that's
Woo-hoo. All right, one of you take the baton.
Okay, my name is Nordia, and I've known these girls forever, like over 32 years at least, because I've been married, 25 years, dated Glenn. So I came around before I started dating Glenn because Chosen, right? Through the Chosen, and when we used to travel from church to church, and we meet up at conventions, at the schools and all that stuff. So I'd see you guys along the way. Remember the old time conventions and stuff?
Yes.
So we'd see each other, we'd talk and say hi, and then maybe if the choir was singing, we'd talk and stuff. But when I got to West Toronto, that's when I started, we started getting close, and we started going to different things and ladies conventions and stuff, and then we just started to click. Yeah. And I don't know, one day we just went out for someone's birthday, and then we just started the pattern, and here we are.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Okay, I'll go next. Hi, my name is Nadine, and I've known these ladies. You know when you just can't remember when you just became friends along the way. So I really can't put a date stamp or a time stamp to that. These are some of my dearest and closest friends. I don't have many, but I have ones that I can count on one hand, and that's these ladies here, plus Marva. Hi, Marva.
Oh yes.
So,
Marva.
yeah, and yeah, yeah. So we're more than friends. We're like sisters, and for that I do value that relationship, and yeah, we'll get into that a little bit more. But yes.
Nice. Last but
Hi,
not least.
everyone. Last but not least, I'm Gillian. So great to be here. Um, just absolutely so grateful to God for this wonderful, wonderful group of ladies that He's blessed me with. So, as so many others have already said, I can't really um, pinpoint an exact time that we became friends and this friendship became so essential. I know that we all come from families who valued and centered faith, the love of God, and by extension, we were in church a lot. We spent a lot of time in church um, during the week, on the weekend, and then during the summer at camps and different things. And so I think definitely around that time, and definitely, as Nordia said, I know it's over 30 plus years, um, closer to 40 years for sure.
Yeah. No, and it is so
A
true because
long
I
time.
think that's where faith and the church community has allowed many, many, not just us, but all over, of course, in Eastern Canada, which is where we're from, the meaningful relationships to build. I think we ended up obviously from the same church congregation, and so that allowed for us to interact on a regular basis. Of course, we all kind of had to. There wasn't a lot of distractions. We couldn't really go to many places. We couldn't go to the movies. We couldn't go anywhere, and so church was our social life. It was not only just our place of faith where we were, being discipled and nurtured in the church community, but it also became our social setting. And I think even too, like for the gifts that we, being involved in the choir and being involved in music ministry and the different, ministries, whether youth ministry and so on, then it was just that we were just all together. And then of course, as Nordia said, she married Glenn and came on over and joined the punch. But we were always close to Kitchener though, the Kitchener girls.
Yeah, you'd come up before that.
True. It's very true.
True.
Right. And so that just kind of allowed us to continue to evolve. But so then I think one of the great things about our friendship is that over the years, we've all kind of we started off being together very often, right? Because we were at the same church and we were, involved in similar things, similar ministries. And sometimes when you're no longer seeing each other on a regular basis, friendships can take different turns, right? Because it's not that anything negative happens for all relationships, why they may not be as close, but sometimes it's just because we're not connecting on a regular basis. But we've managed to, even though we all have different professions, we all serve in different capacities, we all attend different churches, we still maintain a friendship and we still maintain such a close bond. So I just maybe some thoughts as to why you guys think that is. Like what is the glue, the secret sauce to why we are still close to this day?
Well, I feel that we had a good example. Like I came from a church where it's very centered around ushering the girls and keeping like being an example and being together. And when I came to West Toronto, I mean the kitchen crew, they're a perfect example of being friends, fighting, still loving each other, angry, but still will make sure that person's okay. You know what I mean? So we kind of saw that example how it works, and you're walking by them, they'll hand you candy, they encourage you. So I think we were privileged to grow into our adulthood having that example. And I think that's what I feel when I'm with you guys, whether we see each other often, is that family feeling, you know? And if one person hears something, Like we try to like, sometimes we want to go in people's business and everything, but it's like, yo, you need to go check that person, or you know what I mean? So that's what I think we saw in those ladies, and it's in us too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's for
Yeah.
me.
Oh,
My
I
perspective.
agree. No, I agree. I
Yeah.
was thinking family too, because family can't on family. Your family is your family for life. There are going
Yeah.
to be differences. You'll be maybe closer drawn to some members at certain times, but family's family. And there's just like a real deep love and like a desire for everyone to win in a family ultimately. And
Mm-hmm.
I think it's that love and that connection and that idea that it doesn't matter where you go or what you do, or what might happen over the years, we're family, and that the love exists and maintains.
Yeah. And even as you said that, even with we want each other to win. Like there's never really been any competition. Like sometimes you hear about drama in relationships, especially with women, right? So there's all this girlfriend drama or something like that. But there's never been a time, I think from when we were young till now, where it's like there's any form of competition or any form of not wanting the best for each other. And everyone is doing different things. Everyone is, you know, achieving different goals and, living in different contexts and so on, but we've always just been each other's cheerleader. And I think even as Nordia rightfully said, like it was the example that was set before us in terms of our, the women as well, but that whole thing for the church, like West Toronto and even the Church of God overall, you see people and you're like, we're part of a family. Every time you see
Right.
them, it's just like this love, this embrace, even if you're from Agincourt or you're from Kitchener or you're
Yeah,
from
because we always
Scarborough,
come
everywhere
together.
we go, we were raised
Yeah.
at a time where it was us about whenever we see each other, we're family. And it has
Yeah.
translated over the years.
Mm-hmm.
Sure. Family is, I would say that's probably the key thing. That's what keeps us together. That's what keeps us connected. Um, like Gillian said, it's like no matter where you go, you don't see your cousins for, 2, 3 years, but when you get together, it's still like time hasn't passed. It's all because of the relationship that we have with each other. And I think that's probably why we've maintained our friendship for so long.
I would say also, I think it's the level of respect that we have for each other, because respect goes a long way. If you don't respect the people that you're associated with, you're not going to want to continue relationships with them. And I think that also has well, for me, that plays a major part, because, I have respect for each and every one of you. And, I value each of you. So at the same time, like the respect that I have for you guys makes me want to continue a relationship with you, continue to have conversations, continue to maintain what we have because of the level of respect and the love, obviously. That's a major part too. I mean, you want to stay in relationships with people that you love, right? So I think that's also a part too. And yes, absolutely. It is a family. It's not any longer just, oh, we met at the church, we're friends, here we are. It has developed into families, and we've gone through things together, we've established things together, good, bad, everything. And I think that's also a part of why we're so connected as well, because of a lot of the things that we've endured, or not, I don't want to use the word endured because it's not always negative, but the things that we've gone through, not even just individually, but even in our church, like growing up we went through a lot of things, like we've gone through a lot there, and we did it all together, right? So
Yeah.
I think that's also another reason why, in my opinion, that we are the way that
It's
we
good,
are.
and you're right, Grace, because we've experienced so much, right? And we've gone through different stages of development personally, like you're teenagers, and then you're in college, university, and then for some who's gotten married, having children, graduating, whether going off in ministry, advancing in your profession, like, and losing loved ones, obviously losing, parents, and those who may have had to deal with even personal challenges. We've just always been there. I think that has also helped to strengthen the bond, where it's a matter of, for me personally, I can say I've never ever felt that I would be alone. Like I know that I could call any one of you at any given time, 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning, you guys would drop whatever and you would come. You know, that, and I think that just confidence in the people who you know that has you, and I would do the same for you, any one of you. And I think that it just speaks to a level of love, and as Grace said, respect, but just love and care. But I think what I value too, one of the main things that I value is the fact that we can laugh and laugh and laugh and laugh. Denny's. So Nordia said it. I think we celebrated whose birthday first. I don't even remember whose birthday it was that we
It was
celebrated.
yours.
It was mine.
Yours.
I think it
Yeah.
was yours.
I don't even know. I have no idea. I don't remember.
It was my birthday first, and then it just we can't celebrate my birthday and not
And
celebrate.
then it was not fair. Yeah, it's
It's not fair, right? And then they gave me a nice little token. We won't say
Yeah.
how much it was at the time. I
No, don't say. We're gonna keep that.
Everybody, like, we did our own. Oh no, and we did a partner. Remember, we had done a partner. I think the partner
started?
came out after the birthday.
I forgot about that. Yes, we did.
So
Oh my
so back up. So we did the birthday. Everybody put their little token together in a card, and we presented the card.
Say it. It was $10 each. If we're gonna be real here, was it
Oh
$10
God.
each?
And
Was
then
it
went by
$10?
It was
$10.
about that, and then after we increased it a little bit,
five.
like a 20.
Every year was up by five.
It was up by
It started
five.
off at $10. So everybody had to pitch a $10, and we
Yeah.
paid for the person's meal, right? Because I think
So we weren't covering people's meal that time.
No,
It was
you have to open up your envelope
$10.
and pay for your meal.
And then we paid for it, and that's why we shouldn't tell what the money, because it was embarrassing. We gave the $10 and then we had to pay for our meal with the $10 that came in the envelope. Shim.
We started with breakfast, so breakfast was less expensive.
Yeah, exactly.
We just
Denny's.
go to Denny's. So like, yeah, you still had a bit of change to do something.
Wasn't it me the first one that went to dinner and you guys are looking at me like,
I know.
I don't even remember. So good.
we started
I
off
can't
doing
remember where we went.
breakfast. We started off doing breakfast.
Yeah.
And our you know, our waitress or
Jenny.
host, she was always looking out for us. A beautiful, I don't even remember her name, but she always would look out for us. So then we kept the tradition. So of course, then after mine, then Marva, then we had to do Grace, and then we had to do Nordia, then we had to do Nadine, then we had to do Gillian. So from there, once we were already doing that, then we just started all over again. And so then we tried to do little incremental increases. No, Nordia was the one that said she wanted
that it was embarrassing for women
No,
who
it
are
was Gillian.
full-time. I was like, this can't continue. You can't be giving $50 and we all work full time. So then we increased it, and I think we're doing well where we are. Yeah.
You're doing very
Listen,
well.
I look forward to that little money at my birthday. I can. That's one thing I can depend on for
Perfect.
sure. That it comes in handy.
clutch. I come in clutch. But Nordia upgraded it to dinner, and then we started figuring out budgeting a little more for dinner, because her chest was very high, and we ended up, I don't even remember what the first dinner restaurant I said, this is going up a notch, and so it was good for us. But I think too, like, being able to think back to when it started, and the fact that we're still doing it to this day. Marva has traveled off to, you know, for work and so on, and we still remember Marva. You know, she still checks in whenever she's in town, and so she's definitely has been a part of, you know, the experience and the journey.
Yep.
But really just the laughter. Like, I think of times where, you know, life, like the responsibilities that I personally probably have to be shouldering, whether family or ministry or, you know, anything else that I'd be going through. And then when we get together, I'm laughing and encouraged and, you know, just uplifted just by being in your guys' presence, right? And so what do you guys think are some of the things that have remained consistent? Like, a lot has changed in our lives, personally, individually, but what are some of the things I think that, like, I mean, obviously the birthday thing has remained consistent, but is there anything else that you guys think has maybe remained consistent or even changed that has developed the impact in our friendship, in our relationship, or has created that impact?
Like a good impact, you're saying? Or
Yeah, what are the things that, you know, maybe that we've carried through? Obviously, we know that we laugh and we get together, but anything else? Because I think for somebody who's watching and they may think this is great, like, how have they really managed to keep it going even with all the changes that may have happened, what is it
Mhm.
that they have, that the glue maybe? We talked about family that has allowed us to consistently remain close.
I think it's because I don't know about you guys, but for me, it's intentional that I want to make sure that I maintain my friendships, because I find that these days, especially in the day of social media and this and that, that coming across friendships such as ours, it's very, very hard to come by. And you'd be surprised how many people would go home and they're lonely because they have no one to talk to and they don't have any close groups of friends. And next thing you know, their co-workers are, they're making that their family because those are the people who they're with every day. So I think for me, it's intentional that I want to maintain a friendship that my daughters can look up to, that your kids can look up to and say, oh look, mom's been friends with these guys for X amount of years, of course I can do something like that too. So for me, it's all about intent and just being intentional with our friendship.
Like for
Yeah.
me, when I
Biggie,
think
sorry.
about, do you want to go, Grace?
No, go ahead. It's okay. You can go ahead.
When I think about like this sisterhood, I think one of the key things for me is that everyone is real, and the love and admiration they have for you is not about all of the sort of accessories and parts of an image that people try to curate or create, right? So we know that whatever we're doing, whatever we have, however we look, that we would be just as loved, just as included, just as accepted if none of those things held true. And that's important, I think. It's just authentic. Wherever you are, however you are, you're loved and you're included. So that's going to stand the test of time because we change. Your looks will change, what you have, what you're doing, how you're seen by other people in society will change. But if someone is loving you regardless, then that love is going to, it's going to exist.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Grace, you want to say something as well?
I was just gonna say, I think like speaking of like what I try to do to maintain, I try to be intentional and check in. Like I think that is also a part too, and it's not just a group thing. Like for me, like in general with how I maneuver my friendship, I always try to check in. I always try to make sure. I mean, I may not be able to do it every day all the time, but I do make the effort to say, I'm going to check in to make sure, how are you doing? What's going on? I think that's very important outside of just the collective. I think for me, I'm not saying everyone has to do that. Like I know for me, my love language is acts of service, and that's a part of acts of service for me is I have to check in. Like I always want to make sure, like, okay, I'll call so and so, how are they doing? Are you good? Or pop in. There's some people I can pop in on, some people I can't do that. But you call if I'm in the area, I'll call you. I'm in the area, I want to pop in. You good? Like I try to do that, and I think that's also a part of maintaining relationships for those who don't know how to do that. And we spoke about this when we were in Chicago also. I think like Gillian also piggybacking on her, what she said is we have to meet people where they are. And I think we're good at that. Like we've met each other where we are in whatever facet or capacity that we are in. Like it doesn't matter what's happening. We meet each other where we are. Do we agree sometimes? We don't. We're not perfect.
Right.
Do we always have like, I mean, to be honest, we don't really have a lot of stats. As far as I know, we don't. But at the same time, we're not always like, hey, like every time we meet, some of us may not always have that joy or desire to even want to be in the collective or even want to be out. But at the same time, I can say that, once we've left or once we've met, that changes. It does change, right? But for me, I would say you, as an encouragement, maybe if that's not your thing, but to try to, even if it's just once a month you write in your calendar, I'm going to call the girls today, or I'm going to call my so-and-so today to check in. How are you doing? I think that also helps keep relationships as such together and being real. All you can do is be real. Like I'm big on that. We have to be real, and I think that's a lot of the reason. I think that's also a major impact as to why we have maintained our relationships the ways that we have today.
For sure, for sure. And I totally agree. I think the authenticity, I think the intentionality, I think we have an understanding of each other's personalities. We're not, and it's like a relationship without pressure. So we're not thinking, okay, if I didn't speak to Nadine for 6 weeks, does she still like me? Does she still talk to me? Like it's not awkward because there's a level of understanding that everyone is, either not busy. I don't want to use only busy because we'll make time for each other, but we have responsibilities outside of our relationship. And I think there's just an understanding, no matter what, we just have this authentic love and care for each other, which is just consistent with what we've been saying, and I think it also develops through our faith. Like we apply just the love of God that we've received even to each other, you know what I mean? So yeah, there's a level of friendship that you can experience outside of faith, but there's also the fact that we can pray for each other. If I am going through anything, then, if I, call Nordia or text her, because right now we are texting people more than talk on the phone and text, and then, I need prayer or whatever, or she'll say, I'm praying for you, or Jill will say, I'm praying, or any, and it's knowing that we center our relationship on the love that we have for each other, but we also depend on God to be able to help each other and even to express the love of Christ through us to each other. That example, like Grace said, we don't necessarily always agree. We all have different personalities. It's amazing. We all have different personalities, different, perspectives on different things. And even if we're in a debate, or even if we have difference of opinions in a matter or a conversation, there's still just this love and respect, right? And I think more than anything else in the day and age that we're living in, that's not always incorporated in the friendships that people are trying to have. They just want or being selfish, right? So it's all about me and not about anybody else, and what can I get out of this? We're not looking to what we can get out of each other. We already know that we're here for each other, and there's like a mutual blessing for each and every one of us, benefit and value in terms of our relationship. I don't know if anyone I think I jumped in. Did anyone else want to say anything on that?
I think it's sometimes it's not even like necessary call. It could just be like a heart. You know what I mean? That goes like for us, it speaks a lot when someone says your heart, especially on times where it's like an occasion where, like say my dad's birthday or something, and you're not gonna call me, but you will send that heart, and that heart speaks great, because that means I'm on your mind. It's a delicate day for me. You don't have to call me, because maybe I'll be upset or whatever, but you can just send that heart, and that's big. Yeah. And that's sometimes I'm just sitting there and I could, I'll send Colleen a heart. I'll send something to like let you guys know that I know it's a difficult day. I didn't talk to you because sometimes I might pull you down because I'm sensitive with you, but I'll send you that heart so you know that I'm there. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That kind of thing. Knowing that you're there for those occasions, to let someone know that you're thinking of them.
Absolutely. I agree.
Yeah.
And I think I can definitely testify, like obviously, even with this little season that I'm in coming, the podcast is seasons, gone through many seasons, just wanting to be too many to count.
Yes.
But just wanting to be able to be open and honest about navigating life and the different experiences that we do have. For many of us, we've, already lost family members, whether they're our parents or their close relatives, cousins. Obviously for me, losing Sean, who was very much a part of our relationship, wanting to be in our relationship. Like all the guys want, like Glenn, who wants to show up at our dinners. And so, and one of the things that he just valued the friendship, right, that we had, and having gone through, wedding and all of their years together, and you all have been a part of every season that I've been in, and that I've experienced, and even to this point, just navigating this current season and trying to heal through it. Just having you guys there to check in or to send a heart. I have so many different people who do reach out all the time, and I'm so grateful, for the prayers and the love. But I appreciate the fact that it wasn't just in this moment that I had you guys. I had you guys in the happy times, like when, the kids, you guys are godparents to the kids, the children, and being able to being able to journey through life with all of its experiences and know that, there are people who know me intimately, friends, dear friends, and that I could call on you guys and that you've been there, even to the point where it's an example. I think it was said earlier, like, I think Nadine may have said it like an example to the kids. Like for my kids, they just love all the aunties, and they talk about you guys. They think sometimes they'll roll their eyes because of the jokes that we have, but they know that the love is there, and as old as they are, as they're getting older, and as your children are getting older, they know that we are all the aunties and we are there for them. And even Marva's niece calls us aunties, the aunties. And Marva's nieces they're probably what, 30, what, 20?
Yeah, 30. Yeah.
That makes
They're
us
in their
wrong.
30s. Yeah, they're in their
Yeah,
like,
and
no,
they're talking,
yeah,
so
they're
it's like,
early 30s.
but yeah, so just before we kind of wind down, just in terms of some of the difficult seasons, right? The difficult season, all of us have had them in different ways. Is there any encouragement like that, or anything that you would, kind of pull on in terms of what has helped us to get through personally, and then how we together as friends have been able to kind of help us to get through those harder seasons?
I don't
Well, I
know.
went through, sorry, go
Oh, no,
ahead,
go
you can
ahead,
go
Grace.
ahead.
Go
Oh, I was
ahead,
gonna
Grace.
say, I remember this was like when I went through my season with finding out that I was pregnant with Araya, and it was like a what, we know the deals. I don't need to go into details, but I remember when that happened, and I remember that was a very like hard season for me, like a very, very, very hard season for me. And um I remember eventually getting through it, and we decided I got married. And I remember like I wasn't that person growing up that was like, oh my God, I know my dress, I know my this, I know what I'm gonna look. I didn't care. Like that wasn't even on my radar. And I remember that time, like once we were planning, you guys planned my wedding. Like I didn't even plan it. Like you guys planned that wedding. I remember that. I remember we had the meeting. It was at Marva's house, at Marva's apartment. We met at Marva's apartment, and they're like, okay, what colors do you guys like? I don't know if you guys remember that, but I remember like you guys are the ones that helped plan my wedding. And I was, because I wasn't in that place. And honestly, at the time, now we can laugh about it, but at that time, it was a very hard season for me. It was very hard. It was hard navigating that, navigating just everything that came with what happened. But once I got to the wedding section, I remember, I will never forget that. And if I haven't told you guys, I'm so grateful. Like you guys really stepped in. Like at that stage, like there was so much happening. Like maybe some things I didn't even share with you guys. Like I was not in a place, like I didn't even want to be around, for lack of and when I look at everything now, Aria's 20, and I look at all of the ways that you guys have impacted Aria, and the ways that you guys have been in my life through that stage and through that season, was amazing. Like everything came together, and you guys were the ones that came and helped me with that during that time. And like I said, I just want to thank you guys. I love you guys for that. And I really love you guys for just being there, because that was probably one of the roughest times that I had. And so as you said, to also say how it encourages, like I said, I may not have shared all the details, but you guys definitely saved my life in that time. You definitely saved my life in that time, because it was very rough. And I'm grateful. I'm just grateful to God that happened. You know what I mean? Because God forbid that I didn't have the support that I had, in you all. Who knows what would have happened? Who knows what decisions I would have made? Who knows? You know what I mean? But I'm grateful that I had that godly friendship as well, because sometimes you may not have your godly relationships, and sometimes because they don't know, they may steer you in a direction that you maybe shouldn't even have gone down. And I could have gone down many different paths based on that season, but I'm glad I went down the path that I did, and you all were a major impact in that. And so I thank you. And that was a season where I can say, God really allows you all to be there for me in the most impactful way ever. And I'm happy. I'm grateful. I'm really grateful for the relationship that we have, and for how it assisted and helped in that time. Yeah.
Of
For me,
course.
I guess, sorry.
Go ahead, Nordia.
Yeah. Sorry, for me, this was like way, way before. Even before, no, this is when I was married. But I remember when I was sick for a while, like with my back. And I remember I've never had this happen before. Like even you and Gillian came to my house, and then you asked me for olive oil. So I was like, I remember I gave you guys like the oil. Like, did you use this already? I'm like, yes. I'm like, it's okay, it's all right. So like, I can see Gillian like, no, they gave you oil. You know what I mean? But I've never experienced that. You guys actually came to my house, anointed me, and prayed for me.
Mm-hmm.
And I've never had that like that with girlfriends. Like I have a lot of girlfriends, but I've never experienced that. And from that day, I knew that there was a different kind of love, like
Wow.
a different kind of connection. So from that moment, like that's always been on my mind. Like that is why I will not let you guys go. I might not talk to you every day. I might not even like, and I can only be there for you for what you share with me. You know what I mean? But that's what I'm saying. I love you guys to like, I can't explain. It's a different, I can't put words to it, but there was a connection. And then even when we went through stuff together, like housing, we all got struggled to get our houses together, and we went to Lee's retreat. What was it? The best is yet to come. Like all those things that were all crying at the altar, rolling, and like, you know what I mean? We just let ourselves go, like at the altar, we didn't care. You know what I mean? So those are things that bond you. Like
Yeah.
you cannot put that. You cannot buy that. You know what I mean? You can't buy
Absolutely.
that
Yeah.
kind of jokes and that kind of stuff. So no matter how high we get, we're all going in different directions, getting better and bigger. But I can still come to Colin and say, "Yo, what were you doing?" You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? No matter how high you get, like I said, but like, you know what I mean? And that's a connection that no one can
No
understand.
one else has.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
True.
I
Just
think
text Colin, he's like, or can I talk? You know what I mean? And then you whisper like, you just say something and you just die.
of course.
It's
I
like,
think I can't remember which ladies. Oh, sorry, I didn't want to cut you.
yeah,
Continue.
no, go ahead. No.
I was gonna say,
It's
what
like,
ladies retreat was
yeah.
it that you and Tosh were in a whole
Oh my
altar and
God.
we could not stop laughing? I'm sorry.
We're just rubbing us on her breasts. And then we realized we paused and we realized that the whole 700 ladies are just watching me and Tasha rubbing up at the altar like this. And I'm just in her breast.
In
Yeah.
emotional
And then I
distress.
go to Tasha, okay, walk. She goes, and she's waiting for me. I'm like, walk. Everybody's looking at us like we're like, it was so shame. Like she's my lover. I'm like, what are you,
But no, but I remember coming to your house. I remember coming to your house,
You
and
guys
of
remember
course,
that? Do you remember
Gillian,
Gillian?
yes.
I remember. No, of course I remember. When we walked in, you're like Sister Dylan, Sister Allen.
I know. Sister, what are you guys doing? I'm like, what? This is so weird. I'm like, okay, here's Al. I'm like, did you use this, Nordia? I go, it's used, yes. They're like, well, you don't use it anyways.
But
But
that's
it was like, it was so special to me.
yeah,
Honestly, it was really, after you guys left, I was like, wow,
yeah.
these people really love me because I'm still new to the church. I didn't grow up like with you. Like, I didn't know if you guys outside we
Right,
hang, you know what I mean? But I wasn't a part of the original crew. But that time I felt like, wow, they really love me, really care about me. You know what I mean? So that
Wow.
was really
And
special
I
for me.
think that and all of our visits that we have scheduled to go, the senior visits and the prayer, whole prayer aspect of
Yeah,
our of our sisterhood,
yeah,
that is definitely, again, it's part of the faith factor. Like we're not only
right.
there to laugh, but we can pray for each other
Yeah,
for
yeah.
whatever it is that we're going through, and to be used in that way. I don't know if when Nadine and Gillian, were you guys gonna say anything on that before we kind of close off, or?
I think for me, like what stands out most and one of the things that I appreciate most is that you're all present. And sometimes when you're going through trauma or grief, it's not even, it's not that your support group is not there for you, but you may not be in a place to engage with your support group. I remember when one of my cousins, we lost him tragically. And I remember Grace kept trying to call me the whole time. And as a family, we were being pulled, we were dealing with a team from the police force, and then we're trying to get the funeral pieces going, and Colleen was trying to help with that, like organizing the program. And I remember like Grace kept calling, and I couldn't return calls. Like we were hardly sleeping. We were just doing so much trying to. It was by far the worst thing that ever happened to us as a family. And I remember on the morning of the funeral, when I walked in, Grace was standing there on the praise team. And I was like, we're just present. Like, it's okay. When you're ready to engage, we'll engage, but in every way, we're present. I remember there was another funeral, and when I stepped outside, you were all standing there. You were all standing there. You were just standing there. And I was thinking, you're present. Whenever I need you, and whenever, you know, I can come up and exhale or take a breath, you're going to be there. And I think that's been a hallmark for this friendship for sure. We're going to be there. We're going to come together and just be there. We'll be standing there. We'll be sitting there. We'll be there. In any way that you need us, we're going to be there. And I appreciate that.
Absolutely. Nadine,
I knew this was gonna happen, and everybody sitting here was thinking, "Don't." Here she goes, but
I'm trying not to cry.
I thought it was
Oh,
before.
oh no. I didn't even realize. I thought you were just rubbing your eye. I didn't think you were, oh, friend. Oh no. Oh no.
But I mean, but yeah, I think that like, yeah, you can't manufacture it. I believe it's a gift from God. Like, it's just that you guys really are a gift from the Lord, and even in that present, like just being there, knowing that you guys have, my back. I remember when we had the fire and everyone was, I can't remember who was texting, and somebody said, "Oh, your house is on the news." I think it was Nadine that sent me a text. And Julia, your house is on the news. Like, you guys know my address. Not many people know my address, but Nevada court, like, you know what I mean? Like, your house is on the news. And it instantly, like, the only reason why you guys weren't there that night is because we didn't know where we were going to be. You know what I mean? We're just out in the comments, and but let me not revisit that. But anyway, but yeah, in those most devastating times, that presence, right? Just being there, sitting, without maybe not knowing what to say, but just to be there, you know what I mean? And it has not only helped me personally and continues to help me personally, but it helps the family as well, to like, okay, obviously all of us have our family members, like our blood family members, but even our blood family members know our sisterhood. And so, for Kevin, like, he knows the girls, you know what I mean? And Chantel and all that. It's like, it's just such a beautiful, beautiful thing. And I am so grateful. I don't want to, Nadine, were you going to say something quick before we kind of close? No, you're good. Because you don't want us to all be bawling, right?
All the barbecues at Nadine's.
All the Labor Day barbecues.
Yeah. Nadine's, man.
Speaking of that, will we be having one this September?
We're talking about it for next year.
Next year? Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Yeah. I have college tuition to pay, so
I hear that. I hear that.
Absolutely. But guys, trust me, I think on that note, I want to just kind of end off by saying, with anyone that's been watching, again, this is a short conversation of us just sharing, our experiences together as friends. We've gone through many seasons together as girlfriends, and I can just really, really point to God's faithfulness in our lives individually, in our families' lives, and together as a collective, right? As a sisterhood. And I think it's okay to ask the Lord to send good friends, for people who are going to be in your life. And there are people who come into our lives for different seasons, for different reasons. But I'm just so grateful that even in friendship, in this day and age, when relationships seem very superficial, and the criteria to be someone's friend is like a long list of meaningless things, that I'm so privileged to have you all in my life and in my family's life. in a very authentic and real way, and a loving way that just keeps us going. And so I just thank you guys for taking the time to be on this episode. As I said, you guys put up with my antics, not not only in laughing and in crying, but in ministry. Okay, in ministry, our partners in ministry, and really and truly, I believe that what you've shared personally from your hearts on this recording and on this taping has definitely touched someone and inspired someone, has encouraged someone, and that's the goal, right? That's really the goal. And then to point people to the Lord, because He's, again, the center of our lives, and through faith in Him, He will help us to get through every season. So I just want to say thank you again. This is the final episode of seasons for the first season. We take a break, and then we're gonna. So I finished 7 episodes. Can you imagine? And you guys have been perfect number, God's perfect number. You guys are the last for this one, but anyone who's watching, please give us your feedback, comments, questions, topics and areas of interest that you'd like us to cover on seasons, people you'd like me to sit and talk to. We welcome all the feedback. And I don't know if you all had anything else you wanted to say before we go. No? We're good. All right, cool. So thank you so much, Grace. Thank you, Jill. Thank you, Nadine. Thank you, Nordia. Thank you, Marva, in your absence. And we just until the next birthday. Oh, the next birthday is mine. Woohoo!
How convenient.
I know. How convenient. You're not even going to be here anyway. So.
Right, but you guys can FedEx my love
offering.
All right. God bless everyone. Until next time, God bless you. We love you, and have a good evening.
Big love.
Love you guys.
Bye, guys.
Bye.